Hello. There seems to be a great deal of difficulty either with me explaining this point or with people grasping the point. NBC has a news program. NBC Nightly News, right? Or whatever it is. And generally speaking, what is on NBC News is news. I personally would not say that anything that is on NBC News isn't news. Perhaps an argument could be made from time to time. You'd have to check with the FCC to see when and where pieces haven't been considered to be bona fide news stories. But generally speaking, 99.99% of the time, what you see on NBC News is news. But not everything on NBC is news. NBC News is NBC News, but NBC has other programs where other things are shown that aren't news. Now, if NBC wanted to film for news purposes, if there was an event going on or something at the City Hall, then they could do so without getting a permit. Because they're there in their news capacity. That's what they're there for. They're there for news. There's something going on that they want to film. Maybe it's a city council meeting. Maybe the mayor's making a speech. Maybe they're doing a report on some corruption that was recently uncovered there. Who fucking knows? And who really cares? What I'm saying is, if they're there as NBC News, they could probably film without a permit. If they're there as an NBC sitcom or a prank show where they go to places and they pull pranks on people, well, then they're not news. They're not doing news. They're not covering the news. It's not a bona fide news program at that point. There's a difference. Now, maybe they happen to capture news while they're there, but their intent, their purpose isn't to capture the news. If something newsworthy happens while a major studio is filming a production on the streets of Beverly Hills, and they happen to catch a real live gunfight on camera, well, that's news, but they weren't there for the purpose of news. They would have still needed a permit. Is this making sense? Now, I'm not saying I don't watch SVGs or whatever the fuck his name is. I don't watch his content. I don't fucking care about him. Again, he's a fucking retard. If he goes out and he cop watches, well, you've got a damn fine case to say that he's covering the news. But just because he's covering the news then doesn't mean he's covering the news now. If a news broadcaster, someone on NBC News who normally covers news stories gets hired on as a bit part in a Hollywood production that's being filmed in Beverly Hills, and he shows up there for his little cameo appearance, well, they'd need a permit because he's not there for news. And I don't know how you could argue that no news going on, that nothing happening is news. There was nothing happening that I'm aware of prior to SGV creating the scene, getting the cops there, whatever he did to attract attention and get cops. Prior to that, there was nothing newsworthy. And I do not suspect that causing a scene is going to get you out of having to buy a permit to film someplace. I want to film, I'm a major Hollywood studio. I want to film a car chase scene. I am going to have my stunt drivers drive at excessive rates through the streets of Beverly Hills, which is news, motherfucker! It's news! They're driving at an excessive rate through the streets of Beverly Hills, and all I'm doing is recording the fucking news that I also happen to be planning on putting into my major motion picture, which I intend to profit from. if a news agency goes to cover a major Hollywood production being filmed on the streets of Beverly Hills because it's news, and they try to get interviews with actors coming in and out, they probably don't need a permit because that's news. But the major Hollywood film company, who is also going to be filming those actors just acting in their various roles and maybe getting B-roll footage for their little extras and takeouts and blurbs and cutscenes and things like that, they would need a permit because they're not there to film news. Duh! I mean, it is just so simple. And I've got these pea brains just running around desperately trying to make not filming the news into filming the news. I promise you this. If you are in the city of Beverly Hills and you are cop watching and you roll up on where a cop has pulled someone over to issue them a citation for not wearing a seatbelt, I guarantee you that no one's going to walk up to you and say you need a permit to do that. And if they do say it, on the 1 in a million chance that I'm wrong, then you will be in damn fine standing in court. You will be in damn fine standing because you are filming the news. There's something going on. But if you're just standing on the street corner and you're just filming and there's nothing going on, and you have the intention of putting it onto some sort of a platform for monetary gain, maybe you intend to sell it as B-roll footage, then you might have to buy a permit. You will be in a much poorer position to defend your claim that you are filming news, because they're going to ask you, the judge, or it depends on how formal it is, prosecution, plaintiff, whatever it is, somebody's going to ask you, what news were you filming? When you're going to be like, there's news all around us all the time. Duh. So you're saying you went there and you just started filming nothing in particular, but just to film, hoping that somehow news would pop up in front of you. Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. I'm an editor. God damn. Like, this isn't rocket science, kids. This is not rocket science. I'm not trying to say that auditors never capture the news. I'm trying to say that when you go to City Hall with no intention but to meander around filming randomly, you are not there for news purposes. You're not. You're never going to make anybody believe you're there for news purposes, because people don't wander around randomly with cameras hoping that news pops up in front of them, and if they do, they're being unreasonable. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my little rant. I enjoyed making it. Have a great day.